Thanks so much, Jan, for taking the time to chat today. You're one of my favorite fighters right now, so it's very excited for me. And I know that you're in California right now, so just curious, is it your first time in California, and how are you enjoying it?
She feels awesome in California, training at California, and she liked the place and the gym and the atmosphere is just awesome. Okay, and all the people in the gym and in the city in the state are very very nice.
I mean, this whole travel process has probably been very unique for you, right? I mean, everybody, but going from China and then to you were in Las Vegas first, right? And then obviously the fight got pushed back, and so now you're in California. How's this whole process been for you?
The original date of my fight was end of September, so I left Beijing from October 30. So my journey is from Beijing to Shanghai, Shanghai to Korea, Korea to Detroit, Detroit to Las Vegas. And at the second day, when we arrived at Las Vegas, I heard my opponent pulled out. She injured, and my fight postponed to November. So then we just went to California.
Oh, that's great. That's a lot of places going back and forth to. I mean, when you've been away from home for a while, it's been a while now. I mean, you get homesick at all?
Yeah, of course. And I will back home right away, right after the fight.
And you are in California though right now, as it stands, and training with Team Alpha Male. I'm assuming for the first time. So just getting to train with obviously a very notable camp like Team Alpha Male. How's that been overall? I know that Song Yadong's there too, so I'm sure that it's cool getting to train with him.
When I arrived at the Faber's gym, I found there are so many lighter division fighters here, male and female, and so all the way the training fighters are just specific for the small fighters. And Song Yadong is here, so he helped me a lot to adjust to the new environment. And Faber is a very nice guy, and all the coach teams. Members of the coach teams are very nice. They help me a lot.
Do you think that you'll try and train with them more in the future, or are you just kind of trying things out for this one time, obviously?
Focus this fight mainly during this campaign of a male gym.
And I saw while you were in Vegas before getting to California, you did get to do some training with Triple C himself, Henry Cejudo. So I'm just curious, obviously Henry, as much as people might not like him for his personality and his, antics that he does, but obviously an amazing fighter. So what was it like, just getting to train with somebody like him?
That day when I was training there, and I saw Triple C was there, and he was teaching some other guys wrestling. So when I finished my training session, I went to ask him, could you teach me something about wrestling or grappling? And he said, of course, yes. He is a very nice, open guy. Don't like a champion or just, of course. And Triple C taught her some wrestling things. Yeah. And he's a very nice guy. He's a very nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not every day you get to, work with somebody like him in any capacity, whether it's, just for an hour or however long, right? So, I'm curious too. I know that, your background, you got Sanda as one of the combat sports that you worked on. And, growing up, I know you did wushu as a child, and kind of because your father was into that. So after you started doing wushu, did you always know that you would kind of continue down this path of, being a combat sports athlete?
Never. When I was a child, when I started training traditional martial art, I never thought one day I will become a professional fighter and will fight overseas. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of a hard thing to imagine. And some kids when they grow up are like, oh, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a firefighter, all these random type of things that they want to be. Did you have something in mind then when you were younger?
Oh, her dream when she was a child was become a police officer, because she practiced martial arts, so she thought she can protect others. So she wanted to be a police officer. But so she never thought one day she will be a professional martial artist, make living on this, and go abroad for training, for competing.
Yeah, definitely. And, that makes sense to incorporate that together. So very cool. Very cool. And, as for this next fight, though, with, Claudia Gadelha, and because of the fact that this fight was pushed back, a little bit longer than when it was supposed to happen, did you have to change much of your preparation for Gadelha? Obviously, taking more time just to train in general, but like, did it affect things much for you?
The most thing bothered us, our whole team, because due to the postpone of this fight is the financial aspect, because we have to stay in United States for 1 month longer. So the cost, living, for training, for eating, everything, the cost is an issue, it's a problem for us. But training wise, there is nothing special. Maybe I have to spend a couple of days to adjust to the new environment of Faber's gym and the Sacramento. But I was very ready when I was in China and came to United States. So for the training, for the preparation for this fight, there is not so much impact because of the postpone of this fight.
You mentioned the cost kind of everything. So with that in mind, does it motivate you even more so to go out and like get a bonus and put on a great performance out there?
Yeah, that is my goal. Win the fight, got the fight bonus, and go back home with a very happy mood.
Yeah, that would be perfect, right? So we'll see how it goes. And Gadelha, she's obviously very for grappling, and she's been one of kind of the top fighters in the division for really a long time now. So I mean, it's got to be an exciting challenge for you, right? Probably the biggest fight so far in your career, and against an opponent who is the best grappler that you've fought, probably, right?
Yeah, of course, I'm very, very excited about this fight because she is the highest ranking fighter I faced in my UFC career. So I want to show my takedown defense ability to all the audience. Of course, I will win this fight from my striking abilities from the stand game, but I will show my outstanding takedown defense because she is such a good grappler.
One of the obviously the most unique things about most fights right now is there's either no audiences, no crowds whatsoever, or very small crowds. But for the UFC, we got no crowds. So what do you think about that? Are you looking forward to no crowds? I know some people kind of like maybe there's more pressure because of crowds for some people, but how are you? Are you looking forward to not having a crowd and just kind of doing your thing out there?
So of course, I hope the stadium is full, is packed, and all the people cheer for me. But on my first and second UFC fight, I fight in the very early on the prelim card, so the stadium is almost empty. So I used to this circumstance. But yeah, of course, if the stadium can be full packed, I would happy with that. But it's not a problem for me.
Right, just got to go with the flow. So, and this is really interesting to me because 3 of the best female fighters in the world right now are from China. You got obviously Weili Zhang, Zhang Jingnan, and then yourself. So I'm just curious, like, what does it mean for you to be a part of that strong group representing your country? And funny enough, they're all strawweights too. So just what does that mean to you to be a part of that big 3?
I'm so proud of this because we prove that we Chinese, especially Chinese women, we can fight. And but I think I can be better for sure and can achieve a higher ranking. Yeah.
And I saw in an interview from earlier in your career, and it was with you, and your mother was actually also in the interview, and it was kind of an emotional moment for both of you. And you were saying how you didn't want her to see you get beat up, which makes sense and everything, but it was a very emotional moment. And so now, years later, and you've had all this success at this point, what does your family think of how great you're doing?
The interview you mentioned should be her first fight in UFC in Shanghai 2017, I suppose. And yeah, it was the first time her mom saw her, there are some blood on her face on site. And yeah, her lips was cut. So her mom was just shocked and hugged her. And she was also very emotional at that moment. So both of them cry. But now, all her family members, her parents, her family members, support her very much, and they want to watch her fight on site, but they just don't want to see any blood on her face anymore.
Never want that to happen, whether it's for the family's sake or, your own sake. So, I mean, that's always kind of the things about fighting for me is I think about, man, that would make me really nervous, if my family was there. And, obviously you've fought several times now where I'm sure that they've watched whether they were in person or, just, on TV. So, I mean, does that get easier knowing that, your family's watching you, or since you're just climbing the ladder and getting to, bigger points in your career, does it remain the same or get even harder?
Actually, my family would not bother me, would not in my mind when I'm fighting, because I'm so excited. When I step in the cage, I forgot everything, only me and my opponent and the fight, and I'm so excited about this. So I would not think where is my family or something like that. So I forgot everything, only fight, focus on fight.
It's that fighting spirit, right? Just puts you in the zone. If you keep winning, you're just going to get bigger and bigger moments. So that obviously you want to get a title fight at some point, and assuming that Weili is still the champion, I mean, man, especially for China, that's a massive fight. The first China versus China fight, and then in the title fight, we got first Chinese champion versus potentially the second Chinese champion. If you were to win, how big would you say that fight potentially is between you and Weili, assuming that it ends up happening?
If that fight would happen, it must be the biggest moment in Chinese MMA ever. She said, I think all the Chinese people would not work that day. They will sit in front of the TV screen and watch this fight. It definitely the biggest moment for China MMA and China sports.
I mean, that would be awesome, and I really hope that does end up happening. And do you think that it makes it even kind of more of a crazy thing because, like I said, it's between, two female fighters. The two of the best fighters from China are female. Just proving that the women are just as good as the men. Does that make it all the more special?
Yeah, she said so. Yeah, sorry to offense our male athletes. Almost all the sports in China, the female athletes, female team perform better than the male athletes or men team. So yeah, if we and Weili could fight for the title, it's just prove that in combat sports it's still same. Yeah.
Kind of funny how it all works out that way, huh? So, and I've actually spoken to Weili before too, and I remember asking her about you. This was before she was champion, but I think that she said that maybe I don't remember correctly if she said that you guys had trained together before or spoken or something. But have you met her before? Like, have you had any interactions with her already?
We never trained together for MMA, but me and Weili, we had the same conditioning coach, physical coach. So we used to train together for conditioning. Yeah, that's it. That's the only we work together. Only moment we work together. Yeah.
Just curious about that, of course, and I'm sure that there have been maybe multiple things and whatnot, but has there been a specifically, notable or memorable biggest obstacle that you've kind of had to overcome in your career?
Nothing she think is the biggest obstacle or hurdles, and the only thing bother her is she lost one of her teeth in training. Yeah. 2017, when I was training at Jackson Wink MMA gym, and I sparring with a fighter, and her head bumped my teeth. So my 3 front teeth changed. Yeah, because it makes me not as pretty as before. Yeah, that's the only thing I worry about.
Yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that, but I mean, hey, That's the life of a fighter, right? All right, Jan, I just got a couple more questions here for you. And yeah, I mean, obviously we kind of answered this a little bit with the police officer, what you were thinking of when you were, a kid and everything. But, looking back on things now, having lived, a life a bit, obviously, what do you think you would be doing if you never got into fighting now that you've experienced things, looking back on it?
没有想过。
I never think about this. Maybe, probably, I just get married and be a housewife. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, no need to think about it. Obviously, you're doing just fine at what you chose to do. So, in terms of like hobbies or other things that you like to do outside of fighting, that's that's where my mind was going. Do you have anything like that?
She like manga, the Japanese cartoon. She like manga and watch movies. Yeah, that is two her favorite things. And like riding bike.
There you go. Yeah, very nice. Good ones to have. And okay, I got two last things here for you, Jan. You got a really cool tattoo on your arm. I've noticed this, and I'm curious. What is the story behind the tattoo? Does it have a special meaning, or is it just a cool tattoo that you got?
So this is a snake. She was born in snake year on Chinese calendar. And you look at the teeth of the snake, which is like her teeth, which just get injured. So it's kind of memory. And there is a crown there because it means victory, because she liked to win for a fight. And there are still MMA gloves and there's some fitness tools. It means she like training. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, very cool. So there's some good detail in there I never noticed. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm always curious about fighter nickname stories as well. And you kind of have two of them, right? I mean, Fury and then Nine. So is there actually one? Is one old, or what's the story with the nicknames?
Her fight name Fury, she know where this name came from. When she was fighting in Road FC before his UFC career. In one fight, when she stepped in the cage, she just keep attack, very furious. So that's why people gave her a nickname Fury. And for the nickname Nine, it's from after she entered UFC, and she don't know why people give her this name and who. Yeah, she have no idea about this.
Okay, that's interesting. Just people randomly gave it to you. So that's very interesting. Have you tried to figure out where it came from, or you're just like, all right, I guess I'll go by that?
Yeah, I do want to know why Nine, what it means. Yeah.
Oh, hey, you made it to the end. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. If you like this video and want to see more like it, give it a like and maybe subscribe if you haven't already. Until then, we'll see you next time.